You and I do a lot of meetings, right? A lot of presentations. And one of the things, I was listening to a podcast, which I listen to a gazillion podcasts, but I was actually listening to a comedian, famous comedian, Louis C.K., who has come back from being canceled. But he was talking about this what I'm about to talk about. But I find that this doesn't get talked about enough. People think that it doesn't exist with a lot of the stars and a lot of people who you see giving talks, but it's stage fright, right? First of all, do you experience stage fright before a demonstration or a presentation?
Yeah, I think anytime that anytime I have a new meeting and I'm meeting somebody for the first time, I
Mm.
always get an exciting kind of nervous feeling in my belly. And I mean, that's been the case for 25 years, so the short answer is yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean that's that a
I want
little
to put
bit
my
of
best
that.
foot
Yeah,
forward. It's our first dance, Yeah,
right. No, I mean a little bit of that is actually healthy. I mean
sure.
that's
Yeah.
that rush, and there's ways to combat that the stage fright, which I'll get into in a second. But that rush of adrenaline that you feel right before you give a presentation, that's actually that's carryover from when we were in the jungle and we were hunter gatherers, and a tiger was behind us, and we're like like that, and that fight or flight is what propelled us to
Survive.
this is why we're still alive. Yeah, survival of the fittest, exactly. So obviously if there's too much stage fright and it's paralyzing, that's not healthy. But
Right.
it's just a misnomer. Like a little bit of stress is actually what makes people want to do well. Like, oh my God, I'm nervous in a basketball game. I want to, all right, I'm going to play tougher defense, or I'm going to get a rebound, or I'm going to score, whatever it is
Right.
that you are nervous about. There are some famous stories. Ray Lamont, you remember Ray Lamontagne?
Yeah. The
Yeah,
musician.
he had crippling stage fright that he would sometimes give concerts like with his back turned to the audience, like
Jim
crazy.
Morrison did the same thing. Jim
Who did?
Morrison,
Yeah, Jim
Jim Morrison, he
Morrison.
would sing with his back to the audience until he built up that confidence. Yeah.
There you go. And Carly Simon is famous for having crazy, crippling stage. A lot of famous people that you would just never believe. And I get it. I mean, so I do. So one thing you could do is the heavy breathing. When you do heavy, deep breathing, it actually puts you into that fight or flight mode before you're. So if I know I'm giving a talk, a presentation, or whatever, I'll do that heavy breathing 10, 20 times. I'll get lightheaded. But what it does is it tricks your body and your brain to thinking you're under a stressful situation. So all that adrenaline and endorphins and all those things that protect you in a stressful situation are already there, so
Right.
that when you go out to perform, you don't have to go through the fight or flight. It's already induced, and you're actually calm, and you're ready to tackle that tiger type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So I just people don't think hey, you guys are entrepreneurs. You've been
Yeah.
doing presentations for 20 years. You must not get nervous. No, still get nervous.
Well,
It
it
ends,
reminds me
but
of my wrestling days. I wrestled for, 10, 15 years or whatever. And, year nine, I would still get very nervous, when I got on the mat and, shook the kid's hand and my opponent's hand. But then once things got going, I just knew what to do because I've been doing it so long. It's kind of the same way. I feel that because you never know what's coming at you. But chance does favor the prepared. So I always find it helpful when I've got talking points, if I've got some type of structure and talking points to review. And sometimes I'll send them ahead of time so that the prospect or the customer can look at them and maybe provide feedback or add a couple bullets. And that's just very helpful into guiding, the conversation. Because you never want dead air. Or it's fun to kind of chit chat about the kids and all that stuff, but you do want to get on a call and there is an objective. You don't want to waste anybody's time and you want to make the best use of the call. Yeah.
exactly right. I mean,